News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Nathan Hager.
And I'm Karen Moscow.
Karen, we begin with the winner of this year's Nobel Peace Prize following an active campaign from President Trump to claim the award. Bloomberg's John Tucker joins us with the latest. John, good morning.
And Nathan, this year's winner is Corina Machado of Venezuela. She is known as Venezuela's Iron Lady and has been in hiding for more than a year after refusing to bow out after Nicolas Maduro declared victory in an election that's been widely criticized as rigged. The Oslo-based Norwegian Nobel Committee honors her for, quote, her tireless work promoting democratic rights for the people of Venezuela. Well, this year's prize has been marked by a campaign by President Trump to secure the award. Trump has made public declarations he deserves it and has even lobbied Norwegian officials with phone calls. Now Norway is on edge. Observers are worried about the diplomatic and possible economic fallout. Norway currently is in negotiations with the U.S. for a trade deal, hoping for a reduction of a 15% tariff, with their trade minister meeting officials in Washington this week. Another worry is Norway's $2 trillion sovereign wealth fund. That is the world's largest, and about 40% of its investments are in the U.S. There's been some concern that Mr. Trump might target that fund. Norway's foreign minister has pointed out the government does not interfere in Nobel decisions. The 5-member Nobel Committee is actually independent. I'm John Tucker, Bloomberg Radio.
All right, John, thank you. Now we go to the latest developments in the Middle East. Israel's government has approved a ceasefire deal with Hamas that will include releasing thousands of Palestinian prisoners in exchange for any remaining hostages in Gaza. Stuart Livingstone-Wallace heads Bloomberg's Middle East coverage.
It all seems to be going reasonably smoothly. It went to the Israeli cabinet last night, was approved. So we're now in a sort of a 24-hour initial phase where the IDF, that is the Israeli army, will start withdrawing from its current positions to sort of a pre-agreed line. They will still be inside Gaza, but it's going to be over a significantly smaller amount of territory. So basically we're looking at the next 4 days. It's going to unfold. And again, this is very much phase one. And then in terms of the next hurdles, I mean, I think there's a long way to go. And, you know, we should be under no illusion about how difficult some of those questions are, notably on the question of the complete disarmament of Hamas, the future governance of the Gaza Strip, and perhaps most importantly, the reconstruction of the Gaza Strip.
And Bloomberg's Stuart Livingstone-Wallace says President Trump says he'll travel to Israel to be on hand for the release of hostages.
Now, Karen, to the latest on the federal government shutdown on day 10 of the stalemate in Washington. Both sides continue to blame each other for the impasse, and President Trump is doubling down on threats to take advantage of it.
We'll be cutting some very popular Democrat programs that aren't popular with Republicans, frankly, because that's the way it works. They wanted to do this, so we'll give them a little taste of their own medicine.
President Trump spoke at a cabinet meeting at the White House, heard live on Bloomberg Radio. Republicans may be feeling political heat as well. House Speaker Mike Johnson took questions about the shutdown on C-SPAN. One caller on the Republican side said her husband serves at Fort Belvoir, Virginia, and their medically sensitive children might have to go without medication if the military misses paychecks.
You could stop this, and you could be the one that could say military's getting paid. And I think that it is awful, and the audacity of someone who makes 6 figures a year to do this to military families is insane.
Speaker Johnson responded to that caller saying the Democrats are the ones keeping her from getting a check.
Well, Nathan, the Trump White House has decided there is a group of federal staffers that they can't do without during the shutdown, the people who put together the economic data. The White House Office of Management and Budget has directed the Bureau of Labor Statistics to recall staff. They need them to assemble the September Consumer Price Index, and that's the report that determines the size of next year's Social Security checks. President Trump fired the BLS commissioner in August after the release of a weaker-than-expected jobs report.
And the Justice Department's still working through the shutdown as well, Karen. It's bringing charges against another one of President Trump's perceived political enemies. New York Attorney General Letitia James has been indicted on counts of bank fraud and making false statements to a financial institution. The grand jury indictment stems from a property James purchased in Norfolk, Virginia in 2020. It is the second indictment brought by U.S. Attorney Lindsay Halligan, who was recently appointed by President Trump and also secured charges against former FBI Director James Comey. Attorney General James says she will fight these charges.
This is nothing more than a continuation of the president's desperate weaponization of our justice system. He is forcing federal law enforcement agencies to do his bidding, all because I did my job as the New York State Attorney General.
Attorney General James posted that statement on X. She campaigned on a promise to investigate President Trump and won a civil case against him and his company in 2022. James's first appearance in federal court in Virginia is set for October 24th.
And that's news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Karen Moscow.
I'm Nathan Hager, and this is Bloomberg.